As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Psycho Mantis takes a handful of throwing knives. Basil grabs a shovel. Reverse Flash shoots an arrow at Junkrat, but misses and kills Sander Cohen. Tony Green runs away. Yuri runs away. Jack Torrance takes a handful of throwing knives. Nagito runs away. Cuckoo Bird runs away. Gollum grabs a jar of fishing bait while Pagan Min gets fishing gear. Queen Scarlet grabs a shovel. Yuno Gasai breaks Frill's nose for a basket of bread. Trevor runs away. Jinx clutches a first aid kit. Hexmaniac, Pyro, and Light work together. Midari runs away. Sigma runs away. The Joker runs away. Doc runs away. Shining Finger runs away. Betelgeuse runs away. Albert Wesker finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Sunny clutches a first aid kit and runs away. Those are Omori noises. I know I'm not hallucinating that.
I heard
Who's
them
playing Omori?
too. That'd be Abe because I'm waiting for lava to form in
Okay,
Minecraft.
Be
thank God. I was
fucking
like, there's
Gavin.
no
I'm
way I
playing
hallucinated.
Wimworld.
You just switched over. There's no way. You're trying to make me lose my mind. It's a good thing Declan's here, else I totally would have believed that was a hallucination. Um, where was I? Jack the Ripper takes a handful of throwing knives.
Why do I hear more noises?
I've been hearing them still, too. Professor Farnsworth breaks Skull Mask's nose for a basket of bread. Juzo runs away. Stop! Sirius stays at the cornucopia for resources. Two-Face runs away. Genocide Jack breaks Dog Welder's 2's nose. Light defeats Gollum but spares his life. Sigma discovers the cave. Joker dies of hypothermia. Professor Farnsworth sets off an explosive, killing Psycho Mantis, Basil, and Reverse Flash. Queen Scarlet receives an explosive. Yuri practices her archery. Yuno, Tony Green, Betelgeuse, Sunny, and Jinx hunt together. Genocide Jack scares off Midari. Shining Fingers pricked by thorns. Skull Mask explores the arena. Nagito, Frill, and Dog Welder 2 get into a fight. Frill triumphantly kills them both. Jack the Ripper tends to Pagan Min's wounds. Juzo diverts Albert Wesker's attention and runs away. Trevor diverts Junkrat's attention and runs away. Saryu begs for Two-Face to kill her. He refuses. Cuckoo Bird strangles Doc with a rope. Pyro thinks about home. Hexmaniac runs away from Jack Torrance. Shining Finger cooks her food before putting her fire out. Junkrat tends to his wounds. Light, Cuckoo Bird, and Saryu sleep in shifts. Midari and Frill. Are you done?
What?
Declan, is that you?
No,
Okay. You're hearing them, though, right?
I am.
Good.
I'm
Signal
hearing
starts
them.
to fire. Two-Face cries himself to sleep. Obviously, you're hearing them. You're the one doing them. Skullmask convinces Jack Torrance to snuggle with him. Juzo, Pyro, and Jack the Ripper sing songs together. Pagan Min receives a hatchet. Trevor, Yuno, and Hexmaniac discuss what might happen in the morning. Queen Scarlet tries to sing herself to sleep. Genocide Jack cries herself to sleep. Professor Farnsworth, Yuri, and Tony Green discuss what might happen in the morning. Jinx and Albert Wesker hold hands. Betelgeuse and Sunny talk about troops still alive. Gollum starts a fire. What was the notification I just got?
Me.
I don't think it was.
No, no, it is.
That was you.
Yeah, but it was of Abe.
Oh, was it him and Omori? Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Caught in 4K,
Let's
motherfucker.
go. Good man. Gollum and Cuckoo Bird work together for the day. Genocide Jack makes a wooden spear. Professor Farnsworth goes fishing. Sigma makes a wooden spear. Pyro, Jinx, Albert Wesker, and Hexmaniac raid Midari's camp. Frill tries to sweep through the entire day. Shining Finger steals from Saryu. Jack the Ripper receives a hatchet. Frill tries to sweep through the entire day. Skullmask receives fresh food. Yuno receives fresh food. Pagan Min searches for a water source. Junkrat searches for a water source. Jack Torrance sees smoke rising but decides not to investigate. Thanks, Abe. Light
What?
chases
What did he?
Queen Scarlet.
What did he
Sunny and
do?
Yuri. He sent me something and then immediately deleted it.
Oh,
Tony Green dies of hunger. Juzo makes a slingshot. Two-Face questions his sanity. Albert Wesker, Jack Torrance, and Yuri sing songs together. Jack the Ripper receives an explosive. Yuno, Skullmask, Pagan Min, and Hexmaniac tell each other stories. Juzo begs for Sunny to kill him. He refuses. Cuckoo Bird screams for help. Trevor is awoken by nightmares. Light tries to treat his infection. Jinx receives an explosive. Sigma is unable to start a fire. Junkrat tends to Professor Farnsworth's wounds. Frill and Gollum talk about troops still alive. Queen Scarlet, Saryu, and Genocide Jack track down and kill Midari. Two-Face thinks about winning. Shining Finger tries to treat her infection. Pyro looks at the nice guy. Betelgeuse passes out from exhaustion. Trevor begs for Yuno to kill him. She refuses. Shining Finger stabs Yuri in the back with a trident. Two-Face receives the medical supplies. Skullmask constructs a shack. Frill is unable to convince Juzo to not kill her. Pagan Min chases Sigma. Sunny makes a wooden spear. Betelgeuse receives medical supplies. Genocide Jack overhears Gollum talking to Professor Farnsworth. Jinx collects fruit from a tree. Jack the Ripper collects fruit from a tree. Light thinks about home. Cuckoo Bird receives fresh food. Pyro and Albert West work together. Sarayu, Hexmaniac, Junkrat, and Jack Torrance raid Queen Scarlet's camp. Skullmask kills Juzo with a sickle. Pyro lets Junkrat into his shelter. Sunny and Sigma talk about tributes still alive. Jack Torrance receives a hatchet. Hexmaniac, Albert Wesker, and Jack the Ripper sleep in shifts. Gollum starts a fire. Shining Finger fends Light, Trevor, and Queen Scarlet from her fire. Jinx starts a fire. Cuckoo Bird thinks about winning. Two-Face tends to Betelgeuse's wounds. Genocide Jack and Sarayu run into each other and decide to truce. Pagan Min defeats Yuno but spares her life. Professor Farnsworth receives the hatchet. Sarayu dies from an infection. Queen Scarlet explores the arena. Yuno forces Pagan Min to kill Hexmaniac or Jinx. He decides to kill Jinx. Jack the Ripper receives a hatchet. Gollum receives a hatchet. Two-Face hunts for other tributes. Pyro and Albert Wesker work together for the day. Sigma diverts Junkrat's attention and runs away.
Declan,
Sunny...
did I ever tell you something before?
Which something?
So here's the funny thing. I finish Amori, and then like the next day, my mom sends me a meme, and she's like, that's just like you, and it's just a meme with Hero in it. I'm just like, what the?
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was really weird.
And it's hard being a single mom of 4, especially when you're a male high school student.
Yeah. You do be cooking a lot. Anyway, Sunny, Betelgeuse, and Trevor start fighting, but Betelgeuse runs away as Sunny kills Trevor. Genocide Jack goes hunting. Light constructs a shack. Shining Fingers pricked by thunder. Professor Farnsworth attacks Cuckoo Bird, but he escapes. Skullmask practices archery. Jack Torrance practices his archery. Abe, you're gonna die. Genocide Jack accidentally steps on a landmine. Cuckoo Bird, Betelgeuse, Gollum, and Pyro tell each other ghost stories. Light defeats Junkrat but spares his life. Jack the Ripper and Jack Torrance sleep in shifts. Sigma passes out from exhaustion. Pagan Min fends Hexmaniac, Sunny, and Professor Farnsworth from his fire. Sigma passes out from exhaustion. Two-Face destroys Albert Wesker's supplies when he's asleep. Shining Finger, Skullmask, Queen Scarlet, and Yuno tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Sunny's trap kills Betelgeuse. Jack the Ripper receives clean water. Professor Farnsworth collects fruit from a tree. Pyro, Albert Wesker, Cuckoo Bird, and Junkrat hunt together. Yuno, Gollum, and Light hunt together. Queen Scarlet stalks Skullmask. Pagan Min accidentally detonates a landmine. Sigma tends to Shining Finger's wounds. Jack Torrance goes hunting. Two-Face constructs a shack. Hexmaniac travels to higher ground. Skullmask destroys Two-Face's supplies when he's asleep. Shining Finger fends Sigma, Yuno, and Jack the Ripper from her fire. Junkrat kills Gollum when he is sleeping. Jack Torrance, Pyro, and Cuckoo Bird sing songs together. Albert Wesker stays awake all night. Queen Scarlet receives medical supplies. Light quietly hums. Hexmaniac tries to treat her infection. Professor Farnsworth screams for help. Sunny unknowingly eats toxic berries. Queen Scarlet dies of thirst. Skullmask receives an explosive. Professor Farnsworth and Cuckoo Bird hunt together. Yuno sprains her ankle running away from Shining Finger. Albert Wesker and Sigma work together for the day. Jack the Ripper tries to spearfish with a trident. Two-Face makes a slingshot. Light travels to higher ground. Junkrat constructs a shack. Jack Torrance stabs Pyro while his back is turned. Hexmaniac explores the arena. Hexmaniac tends to Jack the Ripper's wounds. Two-Face defeats Sigma but spares his life. Shining Finger defeats Professor Farnsworth but spares his life. Cuckoo Bird is unable to start a fire. Junkrat lets Light into his shelter. Skullmask thinks about home. Albert Wesker sets up camp for the night. Yuno starts a fire. Jack Torrance dies from an infection. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tributes' families. Two-Face doesn't go to the feast. Shining Finger doesn't go to the feast. Junkrat, Professor Farnsworth, and Skullmask get into a fight. Junkrat triumphantly kills them both. Cuckoo Bird throws a knife into Yuno's chest. Hex Maniac ambushes Light and kills him. Sigma decides not to go to the feast. Jack the Ripper and Albert Wesker decide to work together to get more supplies. Sigma and Junkrat split up to search for resources. Hex Maniac camouflages in the bushes. Albert Wesker tries to sweep through the entire day. Jack the Ripper discovers a cave. Two-Face falls into a pit and dies. Cuckoo Bird goes hunting. Shining Finger makes a slingshot. Albert Wesker and Cuckoo Bird tell each other stories. Jack the Ripper stabs Sigma with a tree branch. Hex Maniac and Junkrat work together to drown Shining Finger. Junkrat practices his archery. Cuckoo Bird searches for firewood. Hex Maniac shoots an arrow at Jack the Ripper but misses and kills Albert Wesker. Jack the Ripper sets off an explosive, killing Cuckoo Bird. Junkrat is unable to start a fire. Hex Maniac thinks about home. Alright, last three. Hex Maniac sprains her ankle running away from Jack the Ripper. Junkrat hunts for other tributes. Junkrat is unable to convince Jack the Ripper to not kill him. Hex Maniac unknowingly eats toxic berries. The winner is Jack the Ripper.